Powerful vibration. Hey everybody! Welcome to the room. Visualizing driving in your car. It's your girl Adina. Working out at the gym. I'm here with Tea Time again from Bellydancers of Color Collective. Got my tea, and I'm here with the king, JahSun. JahSun, welcome to my room. Welcome, brother.
Peace, peace. Thanks for inviting me to this sacred space. I appreciate it.
Oh, it is a sacred space. I love it when the brother knows that. Trust and believe it is. Happy summer to you. Yesterday was my birthday, JahSun. So I'm coming to you with all kinds of birthday still popping. Still popping. I'd like to talk with this brother here today about celebrating and honoring the divine masculine. This year on July 20th, 2022, Bellydancers of Color will have our 6th Celebrating the Divine Masculine moving meditation. And JahSun, as a powerful brother, I've worked with this brother over the last couple of years in the space of Tantra and sacred connection. I thought it fitting to have a beautiful conversation with him and bring him to the circle. So JahSun, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy birthday, Queen. Many more, many more.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. So JahSun, tell us a little bit about you. So I know you as a community member, as an IG person, as a personality, as a Tantra master, but give the folks some understanding of who you are as a king, where you come from. I know you're in the Caribbean right now, where you hail from. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, yes, I am in the Caribbean. So a little disclaimer, if you hear roosters and chickens and people going by with loudspeakers, it's because I'm in the Caribbean. That's what we do in the tropics.
Nice.
But I'm originally from New Jersey, born and raised. I left New Jersey rather to join the military at 18 and never looked back. Got married super young, have a couple of kids, 5 grandchildren now. Have worked for local government for 20 years, and now I am in the position of coach mentor. Have obviously the Tantra Challenge, the Tantra program, where I support men and women, but it started with men. The very first Tantra Challenge I ever did was specifically for men, where we worked on semen retention. I had 1,600 men from around the globe join me in doing that deep healing work. And it's morphed and evolved into becoming a co-ed program. We just finished a challenge a couple of weeks ago. We have one more round for the end of this year, and a lot of great things in store for the new year. So in a nutshell, I'm a multifaceted teacher, guide, semen retention specialist, and a tantric practitioner, a single father, and a grandfather. And that's who I am.
Son, that is so yummy. Just in that 30 seconds, I learned about you. I'm happy to have gone through your Tantra Challenge 2 times. I've done 2 cycles with it. I give thanks that you opened it up to the sisters. It is so wonderful to see a man leading in this space. We don't often get to see a brown man leading in the space. We know that it's our space, but it's an honor to be there with you and that you opened it up to us. So you said that, oh, you know what? I asked my sisters if they had questions, and one question came up. Is he single? Is JahSun single right now? I was like, okay, sisters, I'll check and I'll let y'all know. He is in the Caribbean, so you might have to relocate or at least be by. So what's up, JahSun? Is your dance card full? They want to know. We just get right to it.
I have to laugh because I like to be very discreet about my private life.
Understood.
But you know, I've been single and abstinent for 8 years.
Okay.
And I am in the process of kind of cracking the door open a little bit and exploring.
Okay.
And I'm just going to leave it right there for right now.
Okay. I got some belly dancers who might help you take the door off the hinge when you're ready. I just want you to know.
Well, what I would say is I'm not in a fully committed long-term relationship, but that is my goal.
Okay.
You know, I'm not a guy to be out here just, you know, spinning plates. That's never been my thing. So yeah, I'm exploring and letting the wine mature right now, but we'll see where it goes.
Okay, it sounds like it might be ready soon. This could be a good combination.
We'll see.
So, JahSun, tell me what you think of when I say, or when you hear the term divine masculine. People have asked, what does that mean? And I've asked different people, what's their understanding of it as we explain this concept that's very ancient to current society?
Right. Well, you know, I like the term, I prefer the term rather, sacred masculine.
Mhm.
And the reason for that distinction, and why I think it's so important, is because we're all divine beings, right?
Mhm.
Whether we acknowledge that we're divine beings doesn't change the matter. The fact is we are divine beings. But words are intentional. Words have energy behind them. That's why in ancient time, they were very selective about the names that you have. And Native Americans, they don't name their children for years sometimes because they want to look at their personality and give them a fitting name. So words have energy and they have the power to help you manifest things. Wow. So the distinction with the word sacred lets guys know, hey, I'm a little bit different. I'm a little bit off of the beaten path than most people. We are all divine, but sacredness takes deliberation. It takes decisiveness. It takes like vision. There's a lot that encompasses with the word sacred, how you move, how you walk on earth, how you deal with all of your connections, and most importantly, how you deal with yourself. And if you have a creator in your life, I do. What's that connection with your creator? So being sacred, like, okay, as an example, you go into any holy place, you go visit Bali, or you go anywhere and you walk into a holy place. I don't care how you were cutting up and clowning before you walked in that place. When you walked in that place, you showed up different. It's the same like when, when I used to put my kids in like dress clothes, fancy clothes, when we used to go to church back in the day, they behave different based on what they wear. So the same adage, that same thing happens when you apply as a man, you apply sacred masculine, like, okay, I know everybody else is out here in the club wilding and doing this, but what would sacredness do? So it creates space for you to make moment by moment by moment decisions about how you want to live, how you want to express yourself in this life. And you always have something to bump it up against. Is this sacred? Sacred meaning is there reverence here for all involved? Native Americans, when they would kill an animal, they ate meat. They weren't vegan, but they ate every aspect of, they used everything. Nothing went to waste.
They used it.
Reverence, right? When they kill the animal, they pray over the animal. They thank the animal. They treat the animal with high regard. And again, there's no waste. That's a sacred practice versus what you've seen in the slaughterhouse today. All of these animals in cages, nothing sacred about that. So that's how I want to frame up this conversation, especially for my men. Ladies, why this is important for you is because those are the behaviors that you want to look for. You want to look how he treats himself when he's in your presence, and most importantly, when he's not. And there, as you develop a relationship, those things should become more obvious and more apparent. But to me, when I hear sacred masculine, it's a man that is deliberate. He's on his purpose. He's focused. He has his own vision for his life. He's not living a projected vision of his parents or anything else. His purpose. And he moves with sacredness and slowness and presence and respect. And to me, that's what a sacred masculine is, overarchingly speaking.
Ashe, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate the distinction. I appreciate the nuance of adding sacred to divine. When we talk about divine masculine and divine feminine, for us, we recognize that even as women, we have masculine energy, and as men, they have feminine energy. So we understand it's honoring the masculine as a person, the individual, but also the masculine that's within us.
Absolutely. 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 And we are both. We are yin and yang energy.
We are yin and yang, and then come together and yin and yang even more. So when you hear about women who've been honoring consciously, like this honoring of the divine masculine, this is our 6th year. So we are consciously taking an effort to change the direction of our relationships, change the fact that you have the battle of the sexes. Like, no, we don't. We have cooperation with the sexes. We have cooperation with our counterpart. We tell each other all the time, if we're a goddess, that means he's a god. What does that mean? What does that mean to you to hear that belly dancers have been honoring you, the sacred in you and all your brothers for 6 years? How do you feel?
Well, one, I'm like, how come I'm just hearing about this? I'm feeling a little left out, if you want to know how I'm feeling now.
Okay.
I think it's beautiful, man. And, when I am working with the Tantra tribe, more specific, because recently we've been doing breakout sessions. I don't know if you've joined any of the challenges where we have done that, but it's just so powerful. But I always talk to the group, because it's an all-inclusive program, right? And every now and then I'll get somebody that's in the same sex and they're like, where's the content for us? And I'm like, no, there are no carve-outs here. You're an energy being like everybody else. Your sexual preferences of no matter here.
Exactly.
So why do I say that? Well, it goes back to what you just asked me. When I see women and men like break the dogma and thinking that we are competing with one another, that one has to prove more than the other, like what do you bring to the table, like all of these things, instead of like, no, it's a spirit of cooperation, because we're all built for relationship. Like as human beings, we are built on relationship. You look at our ancestors, like if you weren't in community, you didn't survive.
Right.
So we are like intrinsically, innately wired for relationship. And I'm so glad, and thank you for doing that work. Dismay, like in dismantle all of this idea to us against them.
Right.
Because it's a huge distraction.
It is.
We can see it in every aspect of life, whether it's religion or politics, sex. Now we're seeing this at TV, all of these same things. And when I talk to the Tantra tribe, I'm like, is there anyone here that doesn't want to breathe fresh air? We're all in agreement. Like we want fresh air, we want fresh water, we want good food, we want to be able to lock our door at night and have a good quality night's rest, right? We want to feel safe, right? We want to feel loved, we want to feel seen and heard by everybody, right? Yes, that makes us all the same. And we share more common ground between as men and women's feminine and masculine than we do things, varying our differences. So that is a big setup. That's a distraction. It's a ploy to keep us fighting.
Yeah. So
like the hens aren't safe because the fox is in the hen house, because they're so busy, they're occupied. They're like, oh no, we can come right in and take whatever we want. So to hear that you all have been doing that for 6 years and promote that at a high level, especially in the Black community, and we don't have to get on a big long tangent about what most Black Americans have experienced in living here in this country. We know what that story is. We don't have to regurgitate it.
We lived it.
Right. But systematically, the breakup of the Black family. So when I'm hearing men and women of any color, but specifically brown and Black people coming together, to really love one another and express love with one another in a delicate format, I'm all in. I love it. So many more years of that, please. Because I have 4 granddaughters and I want them to be in a circle like this. I don't want them in a club.
Right.
In a circle like this, where they're treating themselves divinely and sacredly, and then they are attracting a matching partner that brings that same energy to the table. That's what I want.
And it's simple mathematics. As we function in that space, then we're going to attract who and what we are. That's what we're demonstrating. So we're showing that, we're living that, and it's really a beautiful thing. So again, JahSun, I appreciate us taking this time to talk. I want to talk a little bit about the Tantra challenge and what you do there. When I told folks that you're a Tantra specialist, everyone, again, these are things that we're stretching people. We're introducing them to new concepts. Tell them in a nutshell what Tantra is and how Tantra is life and benefits us all.
Okay. Thank you for the question. All right. I'm going to start by saying what Tantra isn't.
Okay.
Because that's usually easier. Tantra is not about sex.
Okay.
Tantra, and the word Tantra, means to weave with you and the creator. Okay. And Tantra is a practice of liberation, of self-expression that you can take everywhere, and that includes the bedroom. But I just finished telling you, and you've done my challenges where I've been single and abstinent for 8 years. I didn't have a partner. I was my beloved. We are always our first beloved, whether we're in partnership or not. So Tantra is a practice for every human being who wants to tap into themselves and transform their life. Remember who they are before the programming, before all the dirt was thrown on us, before we got covered up, before we lost our zeal and our shine. Tantra is a pathway, not the only pathway. It's one of the pathways. Tantra yoga, right? To weave and join with the divine. That's what the word means. And one of the greatest aspects of Tantra is your presence, your ability to be present with everything, with yourself, what may be coming up for you, what areas of life need healing, where you have reached your ceiling, with a certain group of people where you may have to elevate and move into a newer space, I'm sure you have new people coming into your program all the time as well. So Tantra is a remembering. It's a coming home. It's a homecoming. Come back to yourself. Come back to yourself, because of all the things that we have been told in society, most of which are wrong. And when I say wrong, not good or bad, wrong, like they are not producing the results. Look at the divorce rate. Look at the rate of cheating between men and women. It's almost neck and neck at this point. So whatever we have been told has not been effective. It's because people have lost themselves. And now Tantra is an invitation to go back and reclaim yourself, for yourself, by yourself. And if you're fortunate to share that with a beloved, that's the cherry on top, but it's not a requirement. So when people ask me what Tantra is, that is my definition of Tantra. And I'm a Tantra student. I'm a teacher and student, right? And it's very important to be able to speak that way, because I'm always learning with the tribe. I don't pretend to know anything. We show up and we learn together. This is experiential. You know what I mean? So I am a semen retention specialist because I'm in a man's body, and I've spent many years studying men's sexual health. So I'm a specialist there, but I'm a student myself. And I like to, what's that saying? If you stay on your knees, you won't have far to fall.
I say.
Humility. Yeah. Super important.
That resonates so much with me and with us and our philosophy as dancers. We know that we're perpetual students. And in our class in particular, we lead and we follow. And that's how belly dance was taught. Grandmothers and babies all together. And it's a lead and follow dance. It's call and response. So it really marries very nicely and blends very nicely with Tantra. It's Tantra in movement.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's a weave. That's what it is.
Yes.
So
and that's beautiful. Because in relationship, there are going to be times when the man has to lead. And then there are going to be other moments when the woman has to lead. Right? Because there are going to be times when more nurturing is necessary. And there's going to be other times when logic is going to be most necessary. And to be able to dance in that weave and have that dance, like you were saying, is super critical. So I just wanted to add that last piece in.
I absolutely love that. Thank you so much. One thing also of what you shared that really touched my heart is you saying you were, or you are your own beloved. Yes. We've been taught in our society, and not just people of color, but everyone really is subject to this, of thinking that we always have to go outside of ourselves for love. But if we do that first, then we're at a disadvantage. Whereas if we can love oneself first and then love, then you just don't lose, you just win. You just freaking, because you already won.
You already won. you know, and it's and to your point, that's Disney love. And we've all been subjected to it. You know, we've been inundated with that Disney love. But you know what? That Disney love is a fallacy. It's a fantasy.
It's fake.
Reason why it's on the screen. No, relationship is real work. And you know, you're gonna have your good days. You're gonna have your not so good days. You have to have a certain level of commitment to manage and maintain a healthy, evolving relationship. So yeah, it's a whole, it's effort. It's a job. It's work, but it should be a beautiful job that you and the party that you're entertaining feel like it's worth it. You
want to do the work together. That's the part about the sacred. The sacredness. And if you are caring about this person, you seek to enhance that connection. So collectively as a community, Belly Dancers of Color has been saying that we want to do this work. We honor the divine feminine, the sacred woman. We honor the sacred man. And we know that it's not tied to genitalia. This has nothing to do, like JahSun said, with your sexual orientation. It's energy, and anyone can inhabit the energy. Okay. Man's body, woman's body, so on and so forth. But we seek to come together, and we look forward to doing that in a beautiful way energetically, and then seeing it just duplicated throughout the planet.
Yeah. So how I frame up Tantra and why it's always going to be an aspect of my life. This is my pathway. And again, but there's all spiritual tools that I use, my flutes and yoga, regular yoga, and all different
art.
meditation.
I love your art too.
Art, yeah, the visual affirmations, all of those things are they're expressions of myself. But here's how I look at relationship as it relates to Tantra. Again, it is to weave with the divine. So what does that mean? You could be your independent person. You need to be your own independent self. And your partner needs to be their own independent self. This is why in the Tantra challenge, the first week, I'm like, I don't care if you're in a relationship or not. Be selfish. Make the first week about you. Come back to yourself. Because a lot of times people are giving to the kids, they're giving to everybody, and they've gotten lost in the shuffle somewhere. And I know what that feels like because I've been there as a single father, married and as a single father, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's being anchored. The Tantra practice allows you to remain anchored as an independent being. And I like to frame it up like it's a triangle, you know, like I know in the Christian faith, they talk about Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, but I just imagine like a triangle. Okay, so there's me, there is my partner, and then there's the divine.
Mm-hmm.
And we are actually in a relationship with the divine. You are bringing the sacredness and the divine with you in the bedroom. So there's actually 3 energies in the bedroom, not 2. And so why is that important? If you always consider your relationship like I'm an independent being, they're an independent being, and then there's a pillar in the middle, and we circle around and we dance with the pillar in the middle, then you'll understand that the relationship is a place of your devotion. The relationship becomes the temple that you both show up to worship, to praise, to grow, to heal, to laugh, to cry, to dance, and all the other things that come with it. And what a lot of people don't understand about relationship is it's a twofold dynamic. It's bonding, yes, and that could mean when bodies come together, but there's also a natural state of releasing. Okay, so 2 become one, that yin and yang that we discussed earlier. And then for whatever that time and space is, then they go back into the individual natures, because again, the man is already masculine and feminine. Again, the woman is already masculine and feminine, but when they come together, the merger and then the releasing. And what happens where relationships get blurry and people get lost is because they don't understand the dynamic of the releasing aspect, that it's natural to cleave and to release, cleave and to release. You don't see the earth hanging on to summertime all year round. There's a natural state when it's summertime, and then there's a natural state when it's not.
Day and night.
And releasing. Exactly.
Hot and cold. Just
exactly.
The balance.
The duality of life in this 3D construct that we're a part of right now. We have to have it. Like you can't have a one-handed hand clap. You need both your hands.
That's true.
You'll never see a one-sided sheet of paper, as one of my teachers, brought out to me so eloquently. Like, no, there's 2 sides. There's 2 sides to a coin. There's 2 sides to everything. Bonding and releasing is a natural dynamic in relationship. And where relationships go poorly is when there is no releasing. People are stuck. And they forget who they are, and they can't breathe. There's no space. And Tantra is a practice that will allow you to breathe and weave in and out with each other, and delicate, almost like a flame or the smoke from an incense. When you light a beautiful, fragrant incense, and it's just freely moving about.
Yes.
Comes together, and that's the weaving. That's what y'all are doing.
I love that. I love how you talked about the breath, because the breath is so important in Tantra. Of course, we practice our breathing and we breathe together. How about before we go, can you give us a quick breath that we can take and we can use on Wednesday? And also, I see us dancing around the pillar. Like you gave me that analogy, and I'm going to give that to the ladies as we perform, knowing that you're already complete, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
If you didn't know, you're already complete, but we're coming together to honor each other in the presence of the divine, which we both are.
Yes. Yes. No. Yeah. It's a poor idea to look to anyone. I know it's a great line in Jerry Maguire, "You complete me." But if you show up like that, what you're basically saying is that you're not whole, that there's a lack there. It may be an unconscious statement. We're saying, I am not enough. I am not lovable. So I must reach for something outside of me for me to feel whole and complete. You're already lost. It's just a matter of time, but that relationship will be over.
Yeah.
Right. Because that is an unhealthy, unconscious way to move into anything, whether it's a job or not. You just sit in that job and be like, I'm the asset here. Let me tell you what I bring to the table. And here's what you can expect if I get this opportunity. You have to speak like that, and you have to show up in relationship like that. And that's not arrogance. That's self-confident. And I would hope anyone in your group wants to be with a self-assured, self-confident person.
Ashe.
And when you can do that, when you can both step in that way and honor each other in that way, man, that's potential for something magical. So as it relates to the breath, because it is very important that you know how to breathe. Even I'm breathing a lot right now, like just entering into this potential space with this queen, and with doing a lot of breathing, because breathing helps like calm your nervous system, to reset your nervous system. It's one of the best gifts that we have, right? It doesn't cost us anything to sit for a few minutes and just still ourselves. So my favorite breath, and there's all different types of pranayama that I do. My favorite breath is what we call the 4-7-8 breath. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of it.
Okay. So the 4-7-8 breath is very simple and it's very powerful. So I literally mean you only need to do 3 rounds of this. You don't need to do 6. You don't need to do 10. You don't need to be like an overachiever. Honor your body, because it will shake up your nervous system. And if you've been in a state in your nervous system of your sympathetic state, anxious, nervousness, then that's that fight or flight, you're always anxious. You have to retrain to go back into your parasympathetic state, which is our natural form. When you look at babies and you watch a baby sleep and it's so restful, they're like, man, they get some good sleep. I'm so jealous. I want to sleep with that. It's because 1, they're breathing from their belly. 2, they're in their parasympathetic. That's our normal state. But most people are always anxious. They don't know how to turn that off. So this 4-7-8 breath will help you do that. So essentially what you always want to do anytime you're doing any form of breath work is you want to sit up tall. And what I mean by tall is you have your vertebrae, you have your chakras in here. And if they're collapsed, if you're hunched over, if your posture is not correct, then you're crimping the energy and the energy can't flow. Very much like a hose, like a lawn hose. If you have a little crimp in it, it's not going to flow as best as it could. So we sit up strong. Obviously, lotus is the best position for this, but you can do it like in a seated chair with both of your feet flat on the ground. Very important that you want to connect to the earth in some way. It's always great when you can sit. I am sitting in lotus here right now. So my anus is touching the ground so that I become a conduit with the earth. So energy comes through the earth, comes through all of the chakras, through my spine, which is again why it's important to sit up straight and erect. And that comes out of our crown and we become a conduit, we become a loop with the earth. So first thing you want to do is sit up straight. You want to have relaxed shoulders. So your shoulders should be down and back a little bit. Okay, and this will naturally bring out your chest. And then all you have to do is hold your core, like kind of, it's a little weird. It's like a 2-for-1 motion. So you want to like up and then crimp down. So it's up and then hold it. And now all of this becomes like a tree trunk. All of right here is solid. If you could reach your hand through the screen, you would be like, okay, this guy's entire core is solid now. There's nothing that's going to move that. And then what you want to do, and a lot of people, if this is your first time listening to this, most people breathe incorrectly, meaning they breathe from here, their chest. You're not supposed to breathe from your chest. You're supposed to breathe from your belly. What does that mean? So let's just say this is my core, okay? And here's a top view of my core. When we breathe, everything should expand, not just the front of my belly, the sides of my torso and the back. Everything should go like this when I exhale. That's how you breathe properly. And the reason for that is because we have a lot of our lungs in our back. So during this pandemic, and a lot of people were transitioning, especially early on, they had everyone laying on their back. And that's the wrong position to be in because your lungs can't expand. That's why a lot of people are dying, right? So it is so important to understand your human dynamic. So you want to be able to breathe like this and come back in. All right. So when you inhale, your entire torso comes out. When you exhale, everything comes in. Okay. This includes your pelvic floor. Now your pelvic floor should move just a little bit. So when you are doing your inhale and everything is being pushed out, your pelvic floor should come down just a little bit. It's very subtle, but you should feel it come down. And when you breathe back, when you exhale and everything is contracted and coming in, it should lift up a little bit. So that's one of the ways to know if you're truly breathing from your diaphragm. Your pelvic floor should just subtly, not a lot, but it should move a little bit. It should bobble. Okay. So 4-7-8, inhale, powerfully through your nose for the count of 4. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4. Now, the 7. The 7 is to hold your breath, or what we would say in meditation or yoga, suspend the breath. Okay, just let it stay neutral. Don't do anything. Pause for 7 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi. Now, if you're new to this, you're probably going to be in your head. You're probably going to panic. You're probably going to learn that you're starving for breath. That's natural. It's the practice that you build up to. But what you want to be able to get yourself to is a place where you can suspend the breath without panic. This is a calming breath. So you want to be able to grow to the point where you can do it with a smile. Calm, relax. And even if you get to 7, you could really probably get to 10. You could probably get to 15. That's when you know that you're moving into a space of mastery with this breath. And then the 8th, which is the easiest, is the exhale. When I say easy, easy doesn't mean it's simple, because what you have to do is make it like a straw with your mouth and control your exhale and bring your entire body in. Remember, so it's 2 for 1. You're breathing out. It's counterintuitive. So you're blowing out and your whole torso is contracting, constricting a little bit. And what in the 8th count is, of course, 1 Mississippi to 8 Mississippi. But what you want to work to get done properly is a smooth exhale the entire time. If it's ragged, if it's shaky, if it's any of that, or obviously if you don't make it to 8, that's the work. There's no judgments here. Train every day, 3 rounds a day, maybe in the morning, 3 rounds at night, especially at night. If you're a person that can't turn their mind off, it would be a great breath. Okay, so I know I give you a long explanation because I want people to do it right. I don't want them to hurt themselves. Okay, because if you hurt yourself, then you won't show back up again. You know, like when you go to the gym and you work too hard the first day and then you're so sore you don't want to go back. That's not what I want here. I want this to be something that you always do. And I want you to teach your men, if you're on the call, do this breath, teach your queen. If you have babies, teach them while they go to school that this is how they stay calm. This is how they avoid getting in the fights. This is how they do well on their tests. This is how they get their cognition and they can focus in class. Everyone needs to be practicing this. 4, 7, 8. Okay. Do you want to do a round? Do we have time for a round, or how do you feel?
Round.
Okay. So I'm going to count for you, but I want you to kind of, do it with your belly. And everybody watching, just get really comfortable. Just relax. There are no rights and wrongs here. So just enjoy it and try to put a smile on your face. Okay. So again, the inhale is going to be through the nose only, mouth closed. A nice, sleep, slow, gradual, deep. Make sure your core is coming out. We're going to hold it for 7. Then we're going to breathe and we're going to release it. Okay, so
let's go.
Here we go. Deep inhale in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Open your mouth slightly and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do another round. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 1, 2, 3. Smile. 4, 5, 6, 7, and breathe out slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Last round. Nice deep breath. 1, 2. Keep breathing. 3, 4, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3. Control it. 4. Smile. 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Ashe.
Beautiful. Good
That
job.
felt so yummy. Thank you for that practice. Thank you.
You are welcome. Is there any other questions you have for me before we
Well,
go? I have a little
I
time,
want
so
folks to be able to reach you, tell them when the next Tantra Challenge is starting, how they can reach you on all the social media, and then we'll just smooth on out of here.
okay, beautiful. So the easiest place to find me is my website. And so it's Learn with JahSun, just the way it sounds. LearnWithJahSun.com. So hang on one second, the speaker going by. So they drive around with these big speakers on these trucks with advertisements. All right, so learn, LEARN with WITH, JahSun, JahSun.com. All right, learn with JahSun. If you're not on my email list, jump on my email list. I offer coaching services and everything else is there. You can also follow me on faristudiosart, which is how you reach me, right? On Instagram, I'm most active on Instagram. I don't have TikTok yet. And then there's a link on my website to my YouTube channel. And there's also links to all the services, all of my offers in the link of my Instagram page. Again, that's Fari Studios, STUDIOS art at Instagram.com. So those are the ways that you can find me. The next and final Tantra Challenge for this year is going to be in October, I believe. Probably enrollment is usually we'll do a 10-day enrollment. So sometime in October, if you're on my wait list, you'll get notifications first. All my alumni always get first dibs. Very limited space. So when you get those emails, you want to opt in as fast as you can. We are very excited about this final round for 2022. If you can make it, we would love to have you. We would love to grow and heal alongside you. And Queen, thank you again for having me and happy birthday.
Thank you, JahSun. Thank you so much. I gotta shake my shaker-ray for JahSun, y'all. I gotta shake the shaker-ray. We make noise for the king. So happy to have you. Appreciate you. As I said, Belly Dancers of Color will be honoring the Divine Masculine for the 6th time as a community on July 20th. 2022 in Bowie, Maryland at Allen Pond. So we'll be breathing, we'll be dancing, we'll be drumming, we'll be lifting you up, we'll be lifting us up, and together we win. We're weaving it together. We win. Thank you, dear brother. I appreciate you. I love you. I honor you.
My pleasure.
Have a great one.